All right, so before has sometimes felt like a very slow dream. Is this episode worthy of its title, Fever Dream? Let's find out now. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watch Your Pass. I'm here to talk about Before Season 1, Episode 6, Fever Dream, which comes to Apple TV Plus on November 22nd, 2024. It's a 6 episode in this 10 episode series. Before has had kind of like an up and down trajectory for me. I really liked the last episode. What about this episode? Well, my hot take is I think you should watch later. It was okay. It was an okay episode. It provides some backstory and a few connections, but not much else. It's fairly slow. There's not a ton of big revelations, and it doesn't have like a crazy ending like some of the other ones have. So this is just an okay episode. Seems like a necessary episode, but it didn't kind of grab me like some of the other ones have. So, I'm this far in. I'm gonna keep going. I do want to find out where all these connections are, but in order to find all that out, you gotta go through some of these slow ones. So all that being said, I'm going to tell you about the episode, a few things I like, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a recap. So as you can imagine, there'll be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't want to know what happens in this episode, you might not. There are some surprises, not as many as I was hoping, but some. I would turn off when I get to the recap. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So remember, at the end of episode 5, Eli cut into Noah's, like just above his eye, and reached in and pulled out a worm that we could all see while it was happening. But then when the attending doctor got there, when other people got there, nothing was there. So it seems like Eli was maybe having some of the hallucinations that Noah is having, or they're being affected by the same thing. We don't know. Well, episode 6 kind of continues that story with, as you'd imagine, an investigation. The hospital's worried about liability. He cut a kid open that maybe didn't need it. And so they are trying to figure out what to do with Eli, but Eli is trying to figure out what to do with Noah and how to solve this case and what his connection with Benjamin Walker is. So does he make these connections? Well, you have to watch the episode to find out. So things I liked about this episode. The first, there are some more answers. As I said, not as many as I wanted. There's a lot of questions here. There's a lot of connections that they have not given us. I was hoping for more. We don't get it, but we do get a few more answers, a few more little tidbits of information in this episode. And the second thing I loved, kind of related to the answers, we get some backstory. We get some backstory into kind of like Eli and Lynn, and also into Benjamin Walker. We get a little bit more, not a ton more, like I said, but we do get some more. So we're kind of filling out this picture. So, all that being said, things I didn't love as much. The first, I still don't love the tape, and the tape is played here because Eli is trying to figure out what happened to Benjamin Walker. So we hear his like worms, worms tape. It's not great. It kind of feels corny. I don't know if it's supposed to be corny, but it doesn't evoke fear in me. It doesn't evoke dread, which is what it should be doing. It feels like a bad audio log in a video game. Second thing I didn't love as much. Not a lot happens. It is not an exciting episode. It's not a supernatural episode for the most part. Just there's not much that happens in this episode. It's not insanely long. It's 32 minutes, I think. So it's about the normal length of Before, but it's 32 minutes of not a lot. And the last thing I didn't love as much, it leaves more questions. Before has sometimes kind of left more questions and answers. I guess that's how you keep people coming through the series. But at this point, I was hoping to get some more answers because we are more than halfway done. We're in episode 6 now. There's only 4 more episodes left, so I was kind of hoping to get some of those answers. I guess we'll just keep having to watch. So all that being said, Before episode 6 comes to Apple TV Plus on November 22nd, 2024. Like I said, I think you should watch it later. It's okay. So if you got on the Before train, it's kind of been up and down. I don't really know how it's going to end. I've enjoyed some episodes. There's some I haven't loved. Overall, I'm going to keep watching because I want to find out what happens. But, I guess get on the train, maybe, if you like supernatural-ish horror and some psychological drama. But I am not super excited after this episode. So if you do check it out, though, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And I'm going to really quickly go into a recap right now. So if you don't know what happens in this episode, I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So, like I said, there's an investigation. The hospital's worried about liability, as they would be when he did unnecessary surgery to a patient. And Eli justifies it by saying, look, it was unconventional, but it did help. Noah had this fear that there was something behind his eye, a worm specifically. So by doing this surgery, I alleviated that fear. And look, wouldn't you know it, that also fixed all those other kids that were having similar unexplained disorders, this like mass conversion that they keep talking about, where, a centralized figure or a big event causes hysteria on multiple levels. So he's like, look, it worked. And it seems like he'll be okay. The doctor, puts him on leave, but says like she'll cover for him, but it can never happen again. You can never do unnecessary surgery to a kid. So I guess he'll be okay. Now, Denise, his foster mother, is also getting very worried because, Noah has not gotten much better. Even though Eli has made progress with him, Noah still is having more and more episodes. He's having more intense episodes. And so his mother, Denise, is getting very worried. Now, Eli goes back home because he is kind of off the case, essentially. He goes back to his house and it's getting staged and he gets very upset with everyone. Like, why are these people here? What's going on? Eli just wants to work on the case. And I'm like, dude, you told this real estate agent that you were okay with selling your house. She's going to stage it. Like, don't get so mad because they're doing exactly what you asked. Eli just feels very grumpy at this point. And they ask, like, hey, when are we going to get down into your office so we can stage that? And he's like, yeah, it's my office. That's where I work. You're never getting in there. And she's like, if you're selling a house, you kind of have to. And he like gets very grumpy at her. He like yells at her, something breaks. He like tells everyone to get out. And look, this better be a really good payday for this real estate agent because Eli seems like a very difficult person to work with. Now, Eli goes back down to his office and he's listening to that tape, the tape of the worms, worms. And he's also looking over the notes for Noah. And we see on one of the pictures, Noah has this like mark on his chest that I don't think we've seen before. I don't remember seeing it before. Maybe it's been there. I just haven't noticed it before. But yeah, this like prominent, like almost birthmark looking thing on his chest. So while Eli is obsessed with the case, his daughter comes down and is like, hey, you said you were going to go ice skating with us. And Eli's like, oh, whoops, I forgot. And so now they go ice skating. And while they're ice skating, Eli is still only thinking about the case. But eventually he's like, hey, look, I'll have fun. So he goes out to skate with his daughter now, or his granddaughter. Now, Noah is not getting much better, and his foster mother, Denise, is trying to help. She's giving him a bath, and Noah sees a bee fly around Denise's head, and it goes into, I think, her nose. And Noah doesn't do anything. He doesn't stab her in the face, thankfully, so I guess he's making progress. But he hears the bee, and eventually a bunch of bees start flying out of Denise's mouth. And Noah screams and startles Denise, as you would expect, and she falls over and hurts her arm. But also, what was interesting is Eli hears when Noah screams, almost like psychically projected or something. Because when Noah screams, Eli turns his head, so he heard it. So they are connected, and we've seen they're connected because some of the things that are happening to Noah also happened to Eli. Like when Noah's breath was very cold, his breath was very cold. When Noah had a worm in his face, in his head, Eli saw that and operated on it. So it seems like their connection is still strong, but this also then causes Eli to think more about, the past, and he thinks about Benjamin Walker and Benjamin Walker's death specifically, because Eli was there. He was the attending psychologist, I guess, there. And so he was there when Benjamin was brought in. He examined him and was there when he died. And so we then see Benjamin's death. Lynn brought him in. We find out that Lynn and Benjamin took a drive upstate to take pictures of a farmhouse, that infamous farmhouse picture we all know. And then after this picture, Benjamin went downhill. Now, Eli tries to calm Lynn, and it seems like they connect very quickly. It's a very kind of odd connection because, like, she brought in her patient slash lover to like be helped, and she's like already hitting on the doctor. Like, that seems like a weird thing. You think that she would be worried about Benjamin. You think that she would be like wondering what to do, and and it seems like her and him are already kind of like hitting it off. So weird emotions all around. Now, this is the only little tidbit we get at this point. Now, over on Noah's side, he is trying to protect Denise, and so he tells her to go away. Like he writes her a note as he's drawing, scribbling, scary drawings. He writes her a note saying, go away. And Denise, I don't think she takes this well, but Noah's just trying to protect her, right? She's seen things attack her. So I think he's trying to get her away from him because he knows that he will, like, whatever's attached to him will attach to other people, will hurt other people. So he's trying to get her away. But I don't think she understands. I think she takes this personally. And so because of this, she goes to talk to Eli. She goes to his office. His assistant is there. And she goes like, I need to talk to Eli. They're trying to take Noah away. They're going to put him in a higher facility. But then when she's there, she sees all of the, like, his like beautiful mind type storyboard of all the things about Noah's case. And she's like, is this all about Noah? Like, what am I doing? And she gets really upset about this. And I'm like, why would you get upset about this? Like, he's working hard on your case. He's like trying to figure out what's going on with your son. Maybe she was upset because all of it was like worms and he had literally just cut open Noah to try to get a worm out. But like, I don't know. His doctor is very invested in his case and has all this, like an entire wall of information about his case. That would seem to be a good thing. I don't know why Denise gets angry about this. Maybe she thinks he's like gone off the rails. Maybe that's it. But I don't know. It seemed like a good thing, but she gets really upset. She's like, "What am I doing? Like, why am I here?" Like, oh, and then like storms out. So it seems like maybe Eli and Noah aren't going to have Denise's blessing. We'll see. But anyways, the way that this ends, that Eli asks his assistant to find out more information about Benjamin Walker, and she found an address for the family. So he goes to that house, and there he meets Benjamin's brother. So we find out a little bit more about when Benjamin died. He was brought in, and then he like went downhill very quickly, very unexpectedly, and there was nothing that Eli could do. Now he talks to Benjamin's brother about him as a kid, and Benjamin's brother says that Benjamin had night terrors as a kid and said something was chasing him. So it seems like Benjamin's brother had some sort of paranoia or fears from a young age, and maybe that eventually caught up to him when he went to the farmhouse. Now, we also find out that his brother cut Benjamin off after he stole from him. So wasn't super close with him, tried to make it up, and then Benjamin stole like some cards from him, presumably to buy drugs, but I guess we don't know specifically. And so his brother cut him off. But while they're talking, Eli notices this bear claw necklace that Benjamin's brother is wearing. It's a very distinct looking necklace. I don't know. It's kind of like Native American, I guess. It doesn't really fit with Benjamin's brother's, mystique, his whole personality. So it is something that draws your eye. And then when Eli sees this, he goes back to when Benjamin died. And we see that when Benjamin died, he had been brought in, he was fine. And then Eli was talking slash flirting with Lynn. And so then the doctors came in like, you need to come, you need to come. He went downhill quickly, and he goes and sees Benjamin Walker on the ground, vomited up. It seems like something went wrong with him. It seems like he went downhill. And so Eli very quickly has to give him CPR. And when he rips open Benjamin's shirt, Benjamin has one of those necklaces too, although his necklace looks like green. It's weird. It looks a little bit deformed. I mean, I don't know if that's the style, or I don't know if that shows like if it's a protection necklace and it has, used up its juice. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But Eli notices this, but then he has to do CPR on Benjamin because he's not breathing. So he does CPR. He does it for a bit, and then crunch, Benjamin's rib cage seems to, collapse. And so when that happens, all this bruising happens right around his chest. And this, I think, indicates that Benjamin is dead. And so when that happens, it seems like maybe like the rib cage collapsed, punctured his heart. I don't know. Something happened. And so all this blood or like bruising happens on his chest. And Eli sees this, and it's the last thing he sees before we get to present time. And now Eli is like, he freaks out, almost passes out at Benjamin's brother's house, but he eventually leaves and goes to check on Noah. And when he gets to Noah, Noah's asleep. He goes in. Again, very weird because I think he's off the case and probably not the best attitude for someone who like just cut open his patient to save him, but still cut open his patient. Now he's sneaking in there at night while Noah's asleep. Not good. And then when he gets there, he like pulls down Noah's shirt for medical reasons, but still not the best overall circumstances. Anyways, he pulls down the shirt, and we see on Noah's chest is what looks like a birthmark in the same shape as the blood bruising, whatever that happened to Benjamin. So it seems like Noah and Benjamin are connected. It seems like Noah's connected with a lot of people. So that's the episode. That's the end. What does it mean? Well, we don't know. We don't know if Eli is the one that killed Benjamin. It's possible. Like, I know CPR, like sometimes the rib cage just breaks because you're pushing on the rib cage to pump the heart. Sometimes it breaks. I don't think that would kill him, but maybe that's what happened. Maybe Eli killed Benjamin, and now that spirit, that vengeful spirit, whatever was following Benjamin, attached to Lynn, and now is attached to Noah, all to try to get revenge on Eli. Maybe this thing attached to both Benjamin and Lynn, and is now in Noah, and trying to get revenge on Eli, and that's why Noah still has like some aspects of both. It seems like he has some knowledge of Lynn. He can draw things that Lynn drew. He knows things about Lynn, but also he has that birthmark from Benjamin. Maybe he'll start taking on Benjamin's personality as well. I don't know, but it seems like Noah's connected to all of them, and it's not going to be good for Eli down the line. But that is the end of Before episode 6. Like I said, I think you should watch later. It's okay. It's not great, but hopefully the next episodes will get better. But if you do check it out, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.